How did a new soldier outsmart all the veteran NCOs? Private Jake Stevens showed up to our motor pool at Fort Hood fresh out of basic training. Kid looked like he belonged in a library, not an armored division. Skinny, wore glasses, talked real proper. The NCOs saw fresh meat. Staff Sergeant Ryan, 20 years in the Army, decided to break him in with a classic hazing ritual. Stevens, you're on fuel duty. Check every vehicle in the motor pool and make sure they're all topped off. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. Ryan had rigged the game. Half the vehicles had broken fuel gauges reading empty when they were actually full. The other half showed full but were bone dry. It was a setup designed to make the new guy look stupid. All us privates had been through it. You'd spend 3 hours running back and forth to the fuel depot, confused as hell, before finally figuring out something was wrong. Stevens just nodded and grabbed his clipboard. The NCOs gathered around Ryan's desk waiting for the show. Usually took new soldiers at least 2 hours before they came back frustrated. 30 minutes later, Stevens walked back in. He handed Ryan a detailed report listing every vehicle's actual fuel level, engine hours since last service, tire pressure readings, and maintenance schedules. Ryan stared at the paperwork. How'd you know the gauges were broken? Stevens adjusted his glasses. I didn't trust the gauges, Sergeant. I calculated fuel based on engine hours, checked the maintenance logs, and measured tank levels with a dipstick. The motor pool went silent. This skinny new kid had just exposed a prank that had been running for 5 years, but Stevens wasn't done. I also found that Vehicle 247 has a fuel leak. Based on the staining under the engine, you're losing about 2 gallons per week. At current fuel prices, that's costing the Army $43 monthly. If this leak exists across the fleet, we're looking at losses over $60,000 per year. He pulled out his phone and showed a spreadsheet he'd made. Sergeant First Class Marcus whistled low. Kid's got a point, Ryan. Ryan tried to regain control. Stevens, you're overthinking this. It's just a fuel check, not a full inspection. With respect, Sergeant, the manual says any fuel duty includes leak detection. I'm just following procedure. Then Stevens dropped the real bomb. I also noticed the fuel depot inventory logs don't match the disbursement records. There's a discrepancy of about 200 gallons over the past month. Ryan's face went white. He'd been skimming fuel and selling it off base. Nothing major, just enough to make extra cash. But Stevens' systematic approach had uncovered everything. Maybe we should discuss this privately, Ryan said, his